What's going on, everyone? Let me know where you're tuning in from, city and state. If you're tuning in from outside this great nation, let me know where you are tuning in from, country, region, province. This life tip, I wish I knew 20 years ago, because had I learned this when I was a young man, I feel like I would be eons ahead of where I am today. And it's hard to do in a lot of situations because you're afraid of hurting other people's feelings. And when I explain exactly what it is to you, you're going to get it. But this one thing, had I done 20 or 25 years ago, would have completely changed my financial life, probably a lot of my relationships, and would have probably completely changed where I am today. Now, I'm not complaining where I am today because I think, everything happens for a reason. But let me share this with you because maybe you're a young person, a young man, a young woman, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're in your older years, but it's something that could still alter your life and change your life for the good. And I'm going to do a giveaway at the end of this video, so let me know where you're tuning in from, because one of the people who are going to win the giveaway are going to be the people who chime in and let me know where they're tuning in from. So let me know city and state, and if you're currently rooting for a World Cup team, let me know. Okay, or a college football team. We all know college football around here. So shout out your favorite college football team. Okay. What I learned, which I feel like I learned a little too late in life when it comes to success in business, is the people around you. Now, you may have heard people say this. You maybe read it in a book or something like that. But the 5 people that are closest to you alter the course of your life. And I remember hearing that a long time ago, and I would think to myself, well, yeah, that means I need to find 5 rich people. And I need to kind of become friends with them. And by doing that, I'll subsequently, through osmosis or something, I'll get wealthier. I'll get richer. And I'm going to just, so that was my thing. I'm going to keep my friends, some who were not motivated, some are broke, struggling, always complaining, but they're my friends, they're my boys, whatever. So I'm going to keep them, and I'm going to go over here and try to find some successful people, some wealthy people that can be a mentor, I can have a relationship with that would help me grow. Dead wrong. I was dead wrong. And if you are currently trying to do that right now, you too are dead wrong. Let me tell you why that was dead wrong, and me doing that was dead wrong. And on top of it, let me tell you what happened when I shifted my mindset. Here's the first reason why it was wrong. The people that I didn't want to push out of my life and distance myself from, because, I've known them for a while. I've maybe known them since I was a kid, or maybe knew them since college, or what have you, or maybe they're just a good person. They were just a good person, and I didn't feel really breaking up with them because I wanted to go on this path. All right. So I kind of kept them in my world, and I would still hang out with them, and you still text them. You have your group chats once in a while, grab dinner with them, or whatever you do with your group of friends. Some of you golf, whatever. But I realized that the energy of these people is what was keeping me down. It wasn't the friendship per se, but it was the energy. They were not motivated with the same things I was motivated for. Their energy was always in a mood of scarcity, not a mood of abundance. These little things matter. And if you say, well, they're just my friends, I'm going to keep them over here, and that's not my source of getting wealthy. I'm going to have some mentors and some powerful people over here. And these are the people, that 5, you've heard that number, the 5 people closest to you. That you're going to emulate their wealth and their income. So I kind of tried to have that here as well. Didn't work. It didn't work. If you don't want something in your world, you have to eliminate it from your world. And I know this sounds harsh, and I know this sounds hard, but you know what's harsh and you know what's hard is being in your 50s or 60s and maybe getting let go from your job, or maybe looking at your 401k because we're in a recession and saying, I don't think I have enough money to retire. Now you're worried about health care. You're worried about some basic necessities. You can't take a nice vacation. You can't afford a decent car. And you're starting to feel some pain and some discomfort. And you're like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I am older. I don't have the income. And I see some suffering coming. What am I going to do? That's uncomfortable. But by then it's too late. Because you didn't take the steps early on to distance yourself from people with bad energy, bad mindset, because you felt bad for them. You felt bad for them. You felt bad doing that because you didn't want to make them feel bad. However, your 65-year-old self will tell you, don't feel bad for them, because when you're 65 and you're broke and you're struggling and you can't retire, but you also don't have any income sources, and you can't live the life that you wanted to live, and you can't give your kids a life, you can't give your grandkids that life, you can't do the things that you dreamt of doing, and you find yourself in a bad spot, those same people are not going to feel bad for you. They're not even going to be there. Trust me, they will not even be there. The only people that will be there are the people that you care about the most, your family. The family will be there. They'll feel bad for you still. Feel bad for grandpa, feel bad for Uncle so-and-so. Can't retire, broke, has to sell everything, has to move to some condo or some trailer or whatever. That is not the position you want to be in. And I realized I was holding on to these friendships way longer than I should because I felt bad. I felt bad distancing myself. Who am I? Oh, what? I'm too good for them? No, it wasn't that I was too good for them. It was that I was looking to be in a certain place and I couldn't remain friends with them because of the energy and the place that they were content with being in. And that was not where I wanted to be. And I was feeling bad for that. And I was wrong. So then one day it happened. An event occurred and I realized I cannot continue to be affiliated with these people. Although they're my friends, I must now break up with them. I now must move away from them. And I'm going to start surrounding myself and only spending time texting, calling, and going out to dinner with the people who I wanted to emulate. That was it. It was a hard decision. But what happened was I met somebody. I met somebody who didn't make the decision early on and didn't make the decision later on. And they were in a compromised position of suffering. And I looked at them and I said, how did you get here? How did you get? And they said, Suresh, do yourself a favor. Don't end up like me. Because this is pain and this is suffering. Don't end up like me. Do the right thing now. It might be uncomfortable. It might not feel good in this moment because you're feeling guilty for other people. But these are the people that will hopefully understand you got to move over here and start creating these relationships over here, because these are the relationships that will ultimately change your life, give you the future that you want and desire, and so you can take care of your family, take care of your kids, take care of your grandkids, leave a legacy. These people over here will get you there. These people over here will not get you there, and you will end up in a bad spot. Maybe you didn't end up hurting anyone's feelings, but let me tell you, your feelings will be hurt. So, I made the decision. There was a core group of people that I completely distanced myself from. I didn't do it in a bad way. I just slowly started pulling away. Slowly start pulling away. Becoming unavailable. Still follow them, check in with them, follow to see what they're doing, to see what they're doing with their families and their kids and watching their kids grow up from a distance. But the only people in my world deeply that I connect with on a daily basis, sometimes not daily, but definitely a weekly basis, are the people that I deemed as mentors and the people that I wanted to emulate. I wanted to be like them. I wanted to be in their position financially. I wanted to have their time freedom. And I wanted to be in that position before they got to that position. So I made the shift. And now those are the people I talk with, I text, I'm on email threads with. Because I'm always in their line of thinking. And I'm always in their mind now. So what happened a couple of years ago? Because I was always there, I shifted to now having my focus here to now with them. And one of those people, one of those mentors, these wealthy businessmen, and I wasn't one of them at the time, but one of them reached out to me because we were in constant contact and said, hey, I just got off the phone with this guy. There's this real estate deal. Some guy had to bail, and now there's an open slot. Do you want it? Do you want in? And I said, yeah, sure. I'll go in. I'll do it. That one deal quadrupled my net worth. It happened to be a deal that hit. It was a commercial real estate deal. By the grace of God, it hit. Had I still been connected with my boys, my friends, whatever, I would have never been in that network and been top of mind for that gentleman who reached out to me, because I wouldn't have had the time. I was still caught up over here talking about fantasy football and this and that and all this garbage that was just passing time. And when I shifted over here, all the conversations changed. And they started being meaningful conversations about my future, my investments, my livelihood. Because you can't be broke and say, I want to be wealthy. I want to have time freedom. I want to have lots of money and the freedom to maybe retire early. But then you're not doing the things to get you there. But I still want to kind of hang out with these guys and drink and talk about fantasy football and all this garbage. Play poker and all this shit. Sorry, I know it's a family-oriented show. So I decided I'm going to be an adult. And I'm going to shift my relationship and my focus. And I started just the constant communication with these people over here that I wanted to emulate. And that one thing happened. And shortly thereafter, another thing happened. And then shortly thereafter, another thing happened. One guy knew another guy he introduced me to. Another deal opportunity. All these things I would have never been on their radar if I was still over here worried about the feelings of my friends. And like I said, it's not like a bad thing. You don't have to curse them off and say you're never going to talk to them again and peace out. No. It's just a different kind of relationship now. Your focus is over here. And that was it. Changed my world. Completely changed my life. Financially, relationship-wise, time freedom-wise, having the time to just go anywhere you want any moment and do what you want at any moment. That alone, that freedom alone was worth the change. That alone was worth the change. To be able to go somewhere and buy a vehicle without even after really worrying about the price or the payment. Economy, yeah, the president and gas prices and food and all. None of that affects me. None of it. Because I'm in a financial position because of some decisions I made, and some of them were not easy. Some of them were not uncomfortable, like the one I'm talking about right now. Not comfortable, not easy. But that dis-ease and discomfort led me to a position today where I have ultimate autonomy, ultimate ease, and ultimate comfort. And if that's what you're looking for, and that's what you say you desire, you have to change the people you are networking with. And these people that I met, I literally had to jump through hoops to try just to even get some of their cell phone numbers. But I knew they were the people that I wanted to be like. So I started out with, what can I do for you? I was a nobody, but that was it. That's how I got into the group. What can I do for you? What can I do for you? And the answer in the beginning was nothing. What do you mean? What are you going to do for us? We're all multimillionaires. Well, I have some offers. Hey, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? Hey, if you guys ever need anything. Hey, if you ever need anything. Hey, if you're ever in my state, reach out. I'll buy you dinner. That was one of the things I threw out there. And then what just so happened, this one guy is a multimillionaire real estate investor. He said, hey, I think I'm near where you live. Did you want to grab that drink? I said, yes. Yes. So I met with this guy. 4 hours later, we're still sitting there in the restaurant. They're like closing the lights. And he had just given me the whole blueprint of how he went from literally like a $10,000 loan to just a handful of years later doing $10 million deals. He wrote it out for me because someone wrote it out for him. And he saw me as someone who was young and hungry and wanted this information. That was a night where I probably previously would have been like screwing off with my friends and doing some stupid stuff, whatever. But I was available for him when he reached out to me and said he was coming into town for a meeting. And he had some space. I was available. See, these are the little decisions that you make over here, and you don't realize that way down the road, something's going to happen. And because you made the decision back here, the opportunity ends up working out over here. And that's what I did. And that's how I changed my life. So if you're serious, not just talking, if you're serious about getting to a different position financially, time freedom wise, you want to build passive income, you want to build a real portfolio that's not tied to the stock market, so when something happens halfway around the world, you lose half your money. You want to build true security for yourself. And you don't want to be relying upon some paycheck or some pension that might disappear 1 year before you retire. Ask people in California and Michigan about that. Work their whole career, a year before retirement, pension gone. What do you do then? That job seemed real secure with those benefits and that pension until they disappear 20 years in. And then what? And if you think it can't happen, think again. Just Google it. So, think about the people you want to emulate. Find a way to get in touch with them. Let them know your situation. Let them know who you are. Let them know what you're willing to do. And let them know what you're willing to offer. And don't take no for an answer. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Be that little squeaky little mouse. Until finally they say, hey, just invite this guy to that next seminar. It just, he keeps emailing. He keeps calling. You can just invite this guy. I don't even know if he's a qualified investor, but just invite this guy. And next thing you know, you're in the room. You're in the room. You're at that meeting. You're in the seminar. Maybe I didn't belong there. I had no business being there. But I was a squeaky mouse. And finally they're like, just invite this guy. And there I was in a room full of multi-million-dollar real estate investors. I was a complete nobody. But they invited me. And afterwards, I sat down at a table with about 5 or 6 of these guys, and I listened, and I took notes, and I listened, and I took notes, and I listened, and I took notes. And when it came to me, I was like, I'm just new. I'm just learning all this, and I'm just kind of getting involved here, and I really am thankful for all your information, and I'm taking notes here, and this is amazing. I just did. And all these men were older than me, much older than me. And they were like, okay, yeah, well, here's a good book I want you to read. I'm going to send you an email. It's a good paper. It's a good document about, lending and private lending and, leverage. And, it's a good, I'm going to email it over to you. It's a good document. You should take a look and read it. And I got all this information. And I go type back, thank you so much. I read through the document. I had a question about da-da-da. And then you get the email back. Great. And then the next email is like, hey, listen, if you ever want to get together, I can go over this with you in person. Boom. Yes, please. I would love to. I'll buy you lunch. Like I said, a lot of these guys were older. Way more successful than me. But that's how I infiltrated it. And they changed my world. And they look at me, some of them look at me as like one of their kids. Some of them have kids that are just completely not interested in learning any of this. But if you are not wealthy, and you want to be wealthy, and you want to have that time freedom, I'm not talking about yachts and mansions and Ferraris and Lambos. I'm talking about you just want to be able to have money in the bank, pay your bills, take a couple of nice vacations, buy your wife something nice, buy your kids something good when they need it, send them to a good school without worrying about, just some good stuff, financial security, be able to retire when you want to retire, that stuff. I'm not talking about the craziness. You don't need a mansion in the Maldives, right? Just comfort. Be able to pay your bills, pay your car note, pay your mortgage. You want that comfort. You want that time freedom. You got to make these decisions. Pay now or pay later. That's it. And I decided to make the change early because you can't say you want that, but you're not willing to do what it takes. If you don't know how to be wealthy, you have to acquire the knowledge. Just like if you don't know how to shoot a gun, you need to go to the range, meet with a firearms instructor, and let them teach you how to shoot a gun. If you do not know how to shoot a basketball, you need to go to the basketball court, find a basketball coach, find someone competent who's really good, and work with them, and let them show you how to shoot a basketball. If you don't know how to throw a football, you need to find someone competent at throwing a football. If you don't know how to do crown molding, I didn't know how to do crown molding. Now I'm an expert at crown molding. I had someone in my world show me details. He was an expert at crown molding. He was an expert. He showed me all the little tips and tricks and all the things to do and not to do. And now 10 years later, I'm an expert. So if you're broke and you don't have the funds that you desire, you need to go find a teacher. You're going to need to read books. And you need to learn. Just like with the basketball, just like with the handgun, just like with the football, just like with the crown molding. People will do that for these other things in their world that they don't know how to do. People will read a book and go on YouTube to figure out how to do something to their car or their truck. They'll read a book or they'll go on YouTube or try to find some article to try to figure out how to do something in their house, like, fix their toilet or something like that. But they'll just complain that they don't have money. They don't do the same thing when it comes to money. It's the same thing. It's an art. It's a process. And if you're not willing to do what it takes, meet mentors, read books, watch videos on how to gain more wealth, well, then you're not serious about it. And you will be broke and you will suffer when you're older. And that pain is painful. I've seen people go through it. And I vowed I will never go through it. My own mother, I watched go through it. So, I got more on this coming up in a blog on 221B Tactical, so stay tuned for that. If you're on the email list, you will get the blog email series called Health, Wealth, and Wisdom, where I cover all these things in the Health, Wealth, and Wisdom blog. I don't know what blog number we're on now. The team sends them out. So make sure to sign up to our email list so you can get those blogs sent to you. It's absolutely free, folks. It's free. I don't charge. Some of these people have these sign up for my ebook and I'm going to charge you $10. No, it's free. It's on our website, 221btactical.com. And if you're on our email list, it'll be emailed to you. And you can read it and educate yourself. Remember, start out as a patrolman in a patrol car, making $34,000 a year. Think about that. And for those of you who know where I am now, today, think about that. So, I hope this helps, and I hope I can help some of you get to where you want to be and where you desire. And Yes, you're going to have to leave some people behind. Not in a bad way. You don't have to be bad about it, and you don't have to go about it like a jerk, but you will have to leave some people behind for your future. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're signed up to the email list. And, oh, by the way, we got some awesome new gear for the holiday. We got a holiday gift guide thing. So make sure you check that out, 221B Tactical as well. Stage 3 thermal, all that stuff. All that good stuff for the holidays that you want and need to take care of your body, your safety, everything like that. So check that out, 221btactical.com. Catch you next time.